Comments like this are really fun to me. We got Tua is so bad I have to trade Hill. Like, as if your league mates don't watch football, as if your league mates have not seen Tua on their own, as if they are like, oh yeah, Tyreek Hill, the wide receiver that's a top 3 name now. I'm not saying that you can't trade Tyreek Hill, but I don't think this can be your reason why. I don't think you can try to just state the obvious and go, I need this dude off my team for this reason. But let's go ahead and let's dive into what's happened with these games. The first thing is with the Miami Dolphins. I understand, yeah, Tua's bad. This game has or at least coming into it, it had the largest spread of any game in the NFL. The Buffalo Bills were favored by about 12 points. They were projected to be the highest scoring offense in the league. Miami was projected to be a bottom 3 scoring offense in the league, which is why I don't want to start Waddle. I'm sorry I told you not to start Waddle. Obviously, Achane was still a must-start guy regardless. Tua, you'd never consider outside of Superflex, and even then, I don't think you would. But has anything changed here, really, to be honest? Like, let's go ahead and let's look at our rest of season rankings, and let's see if we need to be making any adjustments on the Miami side of things. Achane, I had RB7 in a full PPR format. The reason being, he's in a garbage offense, but he's really good at the game of football, and he's going to just draw a ton of targets. Tua is not mobile whatsoever. I mean, he actually had a couple scrambles tonight where I was like, what the hell are you doing? Just get down. But Achane had 9 targets. He had 7 receptions, 29 receiving yards. He had some explosive plays as well. So, like, the thing is, this was a horrible game for the Miami Dolphins. This is a horrible game for Achane. The dude had like 90 total yards and 0 touchdowns, and he still scores 16 fantasy points. So he's still somebody that you need in your lineup. He's still somebody that you jam in regardless. So I'm not going to move him up or down from where we had him at 7. Where did we have Tyreek? We had Tyreek Hill, wide receiver 16 in our rest of season ranks. He comes through, he draws 10 targets at like a 33% team target share. He has 5 receptions, 41 receiving yards, and the receiving touchdown. I understand we want to clown on Tua, but realistically, I think it was near the end of the first half where you had the post for Tyreek. If he comes down with that ball, I know you had a defender on your back, but it's you in the hands. Like Tyreek Hill would have the big play on top of this. He'd have almost 100 receiving yards. So realistically, with Tyreek here, I don't think I need to move him up or down from wide receiver 16. And then I know this is back-to-back games with a touchdown for Jaylen Waddle, but could you trust Jaylen Waddle? No. Like, the dude had 6 targets, and those 6 targets come from Tua. So Waddle, we had coming into this week at wide receiver 37 in our rest of season rankings. Do I feel like we need to change that? No. So I'm going to be honest with you. I don't change a single thing about our stance on Miami before or after this game. It was exactly what you would expect. Now let's go over and let's look at the Buffalo Bills. And I'll actually have to update some rankings here. I am a greedy Josh Allen owner. Like, I have Josh Allen to my fantasy football team, and I'm sitting here looking at what did he end up walking away with? The entire time I have Josh Allen, I'm just rooting we get a rushing touchdown. I'm rooting for a big rushing play. We had like one big run from Josh Allen today, but we walk away with 23 fantasy points, and I feel like, oh crap, this was a bad Josh Allen day. I really wanted 30. Like, I'm a greedy fantasy football owner with Josh Allen, but it guys to show exactly how good he is in fantasy, right? You're disappointed about 23 points, and that's it. So I had Josh Allen as my QB1 coming into this in the same tier with Lamar. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to leave it that way. Nothing changes there. The one thing that I just need to throw in the towel with is very clearly this Buffalo Bills team, they're going to run the ball over and over and over again. This was a game that was close, and they still had 27 carries to 28 pass attempts. So I came into this season thinking like, oh, there's no way they have more rushing touchdowns this year than passing touchdowns. Look at what we have seen through their history. Last year, it seemed like an outlier with James Cook. Nope, it doesn't matter. This team is going to run the ball. They're going to do it over and over and over again. They are going to do it through James Cook. And we are too low on James Cook coming into the season, way too low on James Cook coming into the season. And I think we were maybe too low on James Cook even coming into this game. I have James Cook RB10. Here's my thing. I have Josh Jacobs on my fantasy football team. I would trade Josh Jacobs for James Cook in a heartbeat in a full PPR format. As you go ahead and you look at Josh Jacobs, the man just simply is not drawing targets the way that James Cook is. Let me pull this up. As we can actually pull up stats on flockfantasy.com now, this is actually a really cool thing that we have. But let me stall, and as I stall with this, I do want to let y'all know I got an email from Underdog today. I don't know if this is public yet. I don't know if I should be saying this, but it looks like Underdog is about to come through with a massive promo where this weekend Underdog is going to drop 3 separate promos. Again, I don't know if I should be sharing this with y'all. Hopefully this doesn't get me in trouble. But there's a 75% profit boost token this weekend on Underdog. They're doing a free Russell Wilson gimme pick, higher, lower, half a total yard as well for that Sunday night game. And they're doing a free Lamar Jackson gimme pick, higher, lower, half a total yard for the Monday night game. So I'm actually going to be making some Underdog pick'em slips. I didn't make any this past week, but y'all know week 1, we were using all the promos they gave us. I'm going to be using these 3 as well. I'll share y'all the pick'em slips that I make this weekend. But if y'all wanted to check any of these out, I'll leave the link to Underdog Fantasy in the description in the comment section as well. Code FLOCK will actually get you set up with a $50 bonus in your account after you play your first 5. And then you can, on top of that, go through and take advantage of these promos. But let's move this over and let's look at what we have had with Jacobs in comparison to James Cook so far. So these were my week 3 rankings. But anyway, so you can tell on the site now, you're actually able to go through and you're actually able to scroll through and see a bunch of stats, right? So Josh Jacobs coming into this was the RB16 in points per game. Coming into this game, James Cook was the RB1. Looking at some of this data, while yes, Josh Jacobs is up at 83% of the snaps, where James Cook was only up at 54% for his team. The rushing attempts, not far off, 17 to 21. Rushing yards per game, James Cook at 88, Josh Jacobs at 75. Going through and looking at the targets, you're getting 3 targets a game and compared to half target a game. So James Cook, usage-wise, has been running laps around Jacobs. And honestly, just watching the games, James Cook just looks like a much better running back. So I'm going to move James Cook ahead of Josh Jacobs in our rest of season ranks. And honestly, F it. I'm going to move him over Achane. I'm going to move him over Bucky. I understand that Achane gives you the reception volume in a full PPR league. But James Cook is also getting involved. He's had 3 targets a game coming into this and tonight as well. What did he have this game? He had another 3 targets. So he's had 9 targets this season. Obviously not the same level as Achane, but what we saw this week is we saw Ollie Gordon go out there and vulture a touchdown from Achane. So I'm going to move James Cook up to our RB7 after this game. Like, I was way too low on him coming into the season. I just need to take a massive L right now. The Buffalo Bills are legit. They're going to be able to run the ball a ton. Let's just go for it. Now, looking at the receivers, I was in on this Buffalo offense. I was drafting Allen aggressively. I like the wide receivers a ton in best ball. I didn't draft any of them in redraft just because it felt like it was going to be way too difficult to know when you put Keon Coleman in your lineup, to know when you put Khalil Shakir into your lineup. But the target distribution is all over the place. 6 targets for Kincaid, 4 targets for Shakir, 3 targets for Moore. Keon Coleman has 3 receptions for 20 receiving yards. Again, so if this team's going to be as run heavy as they were last year, like, when are you ever going to trust any of these guys in your starting lineup? Like, going through, I had Keon Coleman ranked wide receiver 40 in our rest of season rankings coming into this. I had Khalil Shakir ranked wide receiver 49 in our rest of season ranks. I think at this point, I would rather have Keenan Allen over Keon Coleman easily. I think we move Keon down to, like, hell, to be honest with you, I have Stephon Diggs and I have Jerry Jeudy on my team. If whoever has Keon Coleman in the Flock League offered me Keon for Diggs, I'd say no. I'd be like, well, you know what? Diggs is going to expand his role as time goes on, so we're going to move Keon down to wide receiver 47, just because I don't think any of these options are going to be trustworthy in Buffalo. It's the same offense as it was last year. They're running the ball. They're spreading it out. Going over to Kincaid. Kincaid's a very interesting case because Kincaid almost had 2 touchdowns. Like I think it was at the end of the first quarter, no? Where in the right side of the end zone, Kincaid had like that diving catch. He could have, if he would have caught it, it would have been great. But you can't really fault him for dropping it. Like Kincaid could have had a blow-up game. But you get like the 3rd string tight end a touchdown in this. Elijah Moore is out there drawing targets. Kincaid only had 6 targets at the end of the day. Like, don't get me wrong, Kincaid looks solid. I had Kincaid ranked tight end 9 coming into this week. I had him in the same tier as like Pitts, Ertz, Ferg, Kelsey. If you're looking at the expert average ranks on the side, I was ahead of Dalton Kincaid as opposed to the other creators. I don't know if I'm that excited to move him ahead of Ferg and Kelsey just because they're going to see more target volume. I think I kind of leave Kincaid here. This, again, same issue that you have with the wide receivers. Well, it's a great offense. It's going to be a team that runs it over and over and over and over again. They're going to get a bunch of players involved. So it's actually funny enough that Corey benched Dalton Kincaid in the Flock League. And, if Kincaid would have had that 2nd touchdown and dropped 20 points, I'd be loving life clowning on Corey right now. But ultimately, I think the only thing that I need to do to change the rankings in this game is I'm going to move Keon Coleman down a bit. I'm going to move James Cook up a bit, and then everybody else stays the same. I feel like a lot of our priors coming into this game are kind of confirmed in this. I don't think there's much to discuss. So usually these like recaps that we have at the end of these games last 30 minutes sometimes when there's a lot to talk about. But each one of these offenses only has a few fantasy relevant names, and I don't think anything's changed. So I'm going to get those rankings updated and published on the sites. Obviously, I'll be live streaming tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day. I live stream literally every single day answering fantasy football questions. So if somehow you have not done so already, subscribe to the channel, and I'll try to answer as many of your questions as I possibly can throughout the season. I will not miss a single day of live streaming until Christmas. Again, today I live streamed for about 4 hours answering your questions. And the past few days I've done 3 hours a day, but we're going to try to ramp that up. But again, I really appreciate y'all. We're on a road to 300,000 subscribers. Looks like it's actually has a real shot to happen. And again, I'm sorry, Underdog, if I was not supposed to leak this, but make sure, I know the majority of y'all are on Underdog already, that you look to see if you have these promos, because if you have these gimmies, like I myself, I'm going to be taking advantage of them. I'll share with you what they are. Again, when Underdog puts out the 75% profit boost, the free gimme picks, they're too good not to take up on. But I'll leave that link to Underdog Fantasy in the description and comment section. And again, if you use code FLOCK after you play your first $5, you'll get $50 added to your account. And these are going to be available, I believe, starting, I don't know if it's tomorrow or, I think they actually in the email told me that the Russell Wilson one was going to go live tomorrow. I could be wrong. But appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen, and really hope I get to see you out in that live stream tomorrow night so I can try to answer as many of your questions as possible.